But before we do all that, it's the U&U Podcast, U&U Radio on YouTube, U&U Podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and FM. What is that FM? I always forget the name.
Player FM.
Player FM. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, man. Show the love. We appreciate the love we've been getting. The numbers have been rising.
Yes,
So
appreciate
it. We got some other things coming real soon. But anyway, Littles.
Yes, sir.
Is in the house. Talk to us, man.
All right. Well, since we've been gone a while, I've been listening to some music. I got like 6 albums I listened to all yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind.
All right, 6 albums. What's the first one?
Okay, we're going from worst to best. So we're going to start off with a ASAP Ferg
Okay.
and his Still Striving album. Being honest, I'm a Ferg fan, but he could have kept every song on this album.
Jeez Louise.
They all sound like throwaways.
Wow.
That's why he came out and said it wasn't an album. It was like a playlist. Everybody's using Drake's words now.
Okay.
It was terrible.
He said it's not an album, it's a playlist.
Yeah, that's what the hot thing to say now is when your album flop.
Okay.
Let's see. He got a song. Okay, I take that back. One good song is called the East Coast Remix. Busta Rhymes, ASAP Rocky, Dave East, French Montana, and Ross.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Out of a 5, I'd probably give it a 1.5 or 2. It's not good at all.
Wow.
It's just terrible.
Dang.
So only 2 shots?
Yeah, 2 shots out of 5.
Jeez.
You're not even gonna get drunk off this album.
Wow. All right.
All right, next album, we still in hip hop. I listened to Dave East,
Okay.
his Paranoia album. I wasn't really familiar with him. I know the name, but I never listened to him. This is another starts off good,
Okay.
ends a bad album.
Wow.
Starts off real tough with a song with Jeezy. I think it's called Paranoia. I think the song is called Paranoia. He doesn't even sound like a New York rapper. He sounds like he doesn't know what he wants to be. He's
Wow.
rapping on trap beats.
Got you.
If you didn't know he was from New York, you wouldn't guess it.
Wow.
He got like I said, the song with Jeezy. He got a song with Wiz. Wiz stunk it up. Wiz was smoking that Reggie on that one. I'm sorry.
Wow.
He wasted some good production on a song with French Montana. His verse was terrible.
But can I ask you, are we saying that Wiz is normally a really good rapper?
He's made good albums. This verse is just
but-
not good.
Okay, so he's made good albums, but as a rapper, do we really expect?
No, we don't go to Wiz for lyrics.
Okay,
But,
okay.
He's a good enough rapper you can enjoy
Because
him.
when you say he stunk it up, I'm like, okay, so what is stinking it up for Wiz? Because I'm like, hey, he's not all that.
He usually makes pretty good songs though.
He makes good
Okay.
music.
Good club.
And I'm not even a smoker, so I can.
Call
Okay.
bangers.
Okay,
a
I just
couple
wanted to
I
ask.
haven't even heard from Wiz in a minute.
Really?
Unless I haven't been paying attention.
I think the last thing I heard was the Fast and Furious
I'm
song.
about to say the same thing.
I don't even like mentioning that song. It makes me emotional. I don't like hearing that.
Really?
Yeah, I could tell a story. I saw the damn movie Fast 7 in the theater.
I seen
That
it.
song came on.
Cried.
Crowded theater. I looked around like, dog, not in the crowded theater. I had to pee leaving the theater, and I was about to cry in there. I went home and peed. I didn't even stop in the theater. I went home.
Wow.
But peep this out. I get in the car, start the car. Guess what the first song is on the radio? Wiz.
Wow.
I turned that shit off so fast and drove home.
That's funny. Littles was in the movie theater crying.
Hey, man.
Go ahead.
The third album, Rotimi. Y'all know him as Dre from Power.
Okay.
Most people don't know he's an R&B singer. He dropped a project called Jeep Music. It's pretty good. It's a solid standard R&B album, I guess you can call it.
Okay.
It gives you vibes like Pleasure P and a little Early Dream on there a couple times.
Okay.
Song with T.I. and 50s on there is probably a standout track.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, a couple more standout.
What's the name of that one?
That I do not know.
Okay.
I'm sorry
But
about that.
It's the only one with 50 on it.
Yeah, it's 50 and T.I.
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
So,
Yeah, they
couple
got
more,
video and everything.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
couple more joints on there. What We Do, Vacation, and Living Foul. I give it about a 3.5 out of 5. It's solid R&B, something you can listen to.
Okay. That's pretty good for a first time out for an
pretty
actor.
good. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to hate because he's Dre on Power, and I absolutely hate Dre on Power right now.
Okay,
I wanted to give it a 1 before I even listened to it.
I hear you.
I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we got Lil Uzi Vert. Dropped his album.
Little Uzi Vert. We talked about him before.
Is this his first album?
Yeah, I think this is his official debut album, Love Is Rage 2.
Hold on. Because I don't listen to Lil. So he
Neither
ain't,
do I.
all this time he hasn't had an album?
Nah, he's been dropping EPs and mixtapes.
God, things have changed. Go ahead.
Yeah, after becoming a fan of him, not the the terrible Bad and Bougie verse. He ruined that song in my opinion.
Okay.
But it's a dope song. It's a dope album. I'm surprised. I was shocked.
Really?
Lil Uzi?
Yeah, Lil Uzi put out a dope album.
Wow.
I've only been a fan of like 5 of his songs on his past mixtapes, but he really surprised me on this album. He don't get me wrong, he's not lyrical.
Okay.
You should, if you heard of him before, you know what you're getting when you listen to his music.
Got you.
Just go there for the party atmosphere. He's young, he's having fun.
Gotcha.
It's a cool album.
Okay.
Got some production from 808 Mafia, Don Cannon, Metro Boomin on there.
All the Atlanta. The whole
Yeah,
Atlanta
he only has 2 guest appearances, The Weeknd and Pharrell.
Oh, wow.
Both
got
of those
Pharrell?
songs, yeah. Pharrell killed his verse. The song called Neon Guts. It's
Wow.
super dope.
Where is he from? Where's
Uzi's from Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, what? I thought he was from Atlanta.
Nah, he's from Philly.
Okay,
That's
you
crazy,
teaching
yeah.
me something I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Sounds good in the whip. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 for Uzi.
Wow.
I'm
4
gonna
out
have
of
to
5
check
for
it
Uzi.
out.
Dang.
Lil Uzi, a 4 out of 5.
Yes, shocking.
I might listen to that on the way home. I'm surprised, but go ahead.
All right.
Y'all can direct all criticism to Lil Uzi.
That's Little's 1126 on Twitter. Number 5, we got the ASAP Mob dropped the album
Okay.
called Cozy Tape Volume 2. For those of you who don't know who the ASAP Mob is, ASAP Rocky, Ferg, Nas, 12, and Ant.
Okay.
This album further lets you know how much better Rocky is than the rest of his members.
Wow.
Thank God Rocky is on almost every song. It's some joints to check out Frat Rules with Big Sean. That's a super dope song.
Okay.
Please Shut Up with Gucci Mane is cool. And First Year Being Rich.
Okay.
There's some good joints on there. The whack members of the crew kept the album from being a good album.
Wow.
I gave it a 3.5. It could have been a 4 if you remove the whack people out of the group.
Wow.
So that's a 4 out of 5 for ASAP Mob, Cozy Tape Volume 2.
Wow. Okay.
And last but not least, R&B fans, Daniel Caesar dropped his album. If you don't know who Daniel Caesar is, you must be living under a rock.
I'm
He's-
living under
I
the
don't know who he is.
Listen, man. Like traditional R&B, soul, he has all that lyrics. He got the voice.
Wow.
It's just he's a dope artist. I think the album is called Freudian.
Yeah, fraud.
Yeah. Became a fan just skimming on Spotify one day, and I found his music. Been listening ever since.
Okay.
Starts off the album with a singer not a lot of people heard of named Callie Uchis. She's from Virginia. She's from Alexandria.
Oh, wow.
Song is dope. Then he followed that up with a duet with her. So back to back, he's already starting on a good note with me. So he has hands down the song that stands out the most is called We Find Love.
Okay.
That's gonna be the song that everybody's gonna be listening to when he blows up.
Wow.
It's definitely something in the water in Canada because he's another one from Canada.
Wow. Okay.
They're taking over the music scene. What else? Highly recommend this album. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
If you like R&B, check this out. There's only like 10 songs, straight to the point, no filler tracks, no skits, no nothing.
Maybe I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
Yeah. That's Daniel Caesar Freudian. It's out now.
Daniel
So
Caesar. Okay, cool.
those are my 6 reviews. Once again, if you got comments, Littles1126 on Twitter, so I can block you. I don't play that on my Twitter. So that's it for the music this time.
That's your new Twitter or your old?
That's my new Twitter.
Okay.
I got suspended yesterday for calling.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Why'd you get suspended?
I called some coons, and added them on Twitter, and I got suspended.
Oh, man. You can't be calling out the coons.
I called out the coons. I'm gonna call out right now. Ray Lewis, LaShawn McCoy, Stacey Dash, Jason Whitlock, and Michael Vick.
Yeah.
I added them, called them coons, and next thing you know, I got suspended for 12 hours.
And when I heard the whole LaShawn McCoy comment about, I'm like, here is perfect example. If you don't have nothing to say, don't say nothing.
Okay, hold on. I didn't hear the comment. What'd he say?
Okay, so he basically said that Kaepernick is not good enough to deal with the drama that he would bring basically coming to a team. I'm paraphrasing, but
Okay.
that's pretty much what he
Okay.
was saying. And I understood what he was trying to say. The problem with that, though, that would have made sense if the Ravens didn't sign quarterbacks out of the grocery store to try to play in front of their starting quarterback.
If the Dolphins didn't call Jay Cutler, who
If-
was
yeah,
retired, give him
exactly.
$10 million.
Exactly.
If Dolphins didn't call somebody out of retirement that's been playing horrible, you know what I'm saying? That maybe then that comment might have. But dude, be quiet.
You know what? With everything that's going on today with Charlottesville and Trump, and the last 2 weeks has been real heavy with the mainstream media talking
Yeah.
about white supremacy and race issues.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would be that big of a circus right now. Right now, if Colin Kaepernick went to the NFL team, because everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And him talking about, he even said himself this year he'd stand. But he said he just wants to bring awareness to social issues.
Right.
Everybody's talking about social issues nowadays.
Well, we are well aware, and Trump is helping it, or he ain't helping it. He ain't making it no better.
Nah.
Scott, break it down to us, man.
Oh, wow. Well, this week, a brother by the name of Marcellus Williams was scheduled to be executed. I believe it was on Tuesday.
Yes.
And basically, it was a whole social media campaign to...
Now, do you remember what the crime was he was locked up for? Murder, right?
He was convicted of breaking and entering, and during the process of a breaking and entering, a woman got killed. Mm-hmm. And basically, they said he do it. Now, this happened in 1990. He was convicted. This happened in 98.
Ooh, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now, he's always said he was innocent. Mm-hmm. Now, it came out that even though he was convicted of this murder, the prosecution never had any physical evidence.
Wow.
Never had any physical evidence. He was convicted based on two testimonies. The testimony of his ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
And the testimony of some dude he was locked up with. And the girlfriend later came forward and said she testified for the reward money because it was a $10,000 reward leading to his conviction.
From the family, right?
I don't know if it was for the family. Well, I can't speak on that.
And let me tell you.
So I'm guessing they testified and split
there's
that
a
reward
lot of
money.
exes out there that would turn you in for $10,000.
maybe a lot less.
Now, his lawyers have always fought for DNA evidence
Yes.
to be seen, to be introduced in the trial, but it was always shut down. But the DNA evidence, basically taken from the crime scene, like the blood and all the forensic stuff like that, based on the DNA evidence, they can't place this man at the crime scene.
Yeah, it wasn't even on the murder weapon.
Right, and I believe the young lady was stabbed.
Yeah,
I believe she was
43
stabbed.
times.
Right.
Wow.
So
and that
nothing
that
puts
many
him in.
times, that sounds like
That's personal, first of
a
all.
personal murder.
So basically, his lawyers are saying, based on the DNA evidence, if you introduce this in the court, this man's not guilty, and he's always said he always said he didn't do it.
Was it a Caucasian woman?
Yeah,
Yes,
she
it was.
Caucasian.
And
I'm
this
just about to
is
bring
a
that up.
brother, and I believe this is in the St. Louis area.
This is Missouri, yes.
Oh, somebody's covering up for somebody.
Now, let's not forget, not too long ago, the NAACP set out a letter warning black people about traveling in Missouri.
Really?
Because of basically white supremacists have infiltrated Missouri law enforcement and things of that nature. And they were saying, look, if you're traveling through Missouri and you black, this is the NAACP saying this.
Wow.
You better be very careful.
But the crazy thing about it is, it says the new DNA evidence does not come close to showing Williams is actually innocent. And that's coming from the state.
What?
The state said the new DNA evidence does not come close to showing Williams is actually innocent.
That's them covering their
It's
butt.
saying he ain't there.
Is that
They can't place him.
is that their way of a loophole?
It says the state said it would be unsurprising if Williams, who wore a coat from the crime scene to cover his bloody shirt, wore gloves when he committed the burglary and the murder.
Come on, man. They covering up for somebody's covering up for somebody. That woman was killed by a lover.
Let me tell you something.
46 times.
When you on trial for murder, you need evidence.
No, but
we
listen.
learned this from the whole OJ situation. You
But
need
listen.
evidence.
If you breaking, this is just criminal 101. If you breaking into somebody's house, do you really have the time to stab them 46 times?
No, that's personal, like you said.
Yeah, that's
That's
personal.
personal.
I'm not a lawyer, but I don't watch enough forensic files to know.
Hey,
Enough SVU.
enough SVU. That's personal,
It
man.
take a lot of time and energy to stab somebody that many times.
Yeah, and then you gonna still pick up the TV and walk out the front door.
But after all these years, you know there had to be other states' attorneys since 1998, and they still confident that Mr. Williams did this.
Man, this
Despite
this happened to us all
the
the time.
DNA evidence.
They just want somebody to go
He did.
down for it.
How many times they convicted somebody out of laziness because they just don't want to do the work and find out
They're like,
who
okay,
really did this.
they said it's him, it's him. Let's move on.
They done sent us. They done threw a black man in jail. All right, that's good enough for us. Whatever. What 50 Cent on Power? Whatever they say he did.
He did that shit.
He did it.
But it don't help when your president is pardoning sheriffs that's admitting that he's racial profiling. You know what I mean? It all goes hand in hand. The funny thing to me about all this, when you talk about Charlottesville, when you talk about Mr. Williams and Trump pardoning a sheriff that admitted that he has officers racial profiling. The funny thing about all that to me is black folk been talking about this since forever. And everybody say, oh, y'all crazy, get over it. You conspiracy theorists, it's all, everything with y'all is a conspiracy. And even you got young folk now that's still talking that, oh, you wouldn't get killed by the cops if you just stopped resisting. Are you, what planet? When you've never, and I said this before, when you've never been harassed by police is when you say that. Because anybody that's been harassed by police does not feel that way. And most black folk have at least once.
Not to jump on this, but you just brought up something
very powerful.
That was very powerful. Let me tell you something. Brothers know if anytime you have a confrontation with a police officer,
yes,
if you open your mouth, the first thing they do is say stop resisting.
Yep.
You not fighting,
right.
You not yelling. You could just be like, well, what you pull me up? Stop resisting.
Yep. Yep. Straight like that.
Anything you do, you resisting.
Straight like that.
And that's basically their excuse to do whatever they want to do to you. And they gonna say, well, he was resisting, just like Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland was smoking a cigarette in her car, and the police officer was like, you need to stop resisting. She was like, I'm smoking a cigarette in my car.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Yep. And this has been going on since forever. And like I said on another show, Malcolm X talked about this. Dr. King talked about this. Farrakhan talks about this. And been talking about it for 60 years now? I mean, we only been out of slavery how many years? I mean, out of segregation.
50 years out of segregation.
50 years out of segregation.
And before they was talking about it, other brothers was talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have people alive and well that was around and experienced that whole segregation.
Rest in peace to Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory. He just passed away. Dick Gregory lived through all that. You can't tell that man that it's not racism in America. There's no way you can convince that man of that. He lived through it all.
Yep.
He's seen it all, literally. Dick Gregory is the real life Forrest Gump. I'm going to miss Dick Gregory, man.
Me too.
He definitely needs a movie made about him.
Oh,
they got to do it right.
Man.
I already said the older Dick Gregory, not the senior citizen, maybe like the 30s and 40s, could be Idris. I saw a picture.
Okay.
And it kind of resembled him.
I agree with you, though. I think they should do a movie. He's the black Forrest Gump.
They got to do it right, though. No BET, no Lifetime.
Yeah.
We talking real deal movies.
Yeah, man. He is the real life Forrest Gump. And, you know, I've listened to tons and tons of interviews of Dick Gregory, and he named all the people that he's talked with and met with and been with. And I'm like, yo, Dick Gregory's been with everybody. You name it, he know him. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Dick Gregory, man.
Absolutely. Rest in peace.
I'm telling you, that's one dude I'm really, really gonna miss, man. Dick Gregory. Let's give a moment of silence for Dick Gregory. It's the U&U Podcast. Styles P was on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about mental illness. Break it down for us, Rip.
Yeah, Styles P was on there with his wife, and he was talking about his stepdaughter's suicide. And he was just talking about, you know, how his stepdaughter was dealing with a lot of things as far as, you know, her absentee father, certain things with her relationship and her sexuality, because at the moment she came out as bisexual and she was dealing with her identity and stuff like that. And they were just talking about, he got a little emotional during the interview because, you know, of course, you know, her committing suicide and then him feeling that, you know, he wasn't there for her and stuff like that. And he was basically, at one point, one of the statements that he made was about, you know, how, you know, we go out here and we live the life we live. We always on the run trying to make the money and do this and do that, but we never, you know, give time to family and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know, he got a little emotional about that. And Joe Budden's on Everyday Struggle, actually, they spoke on that on the show. And, you know, Joe Budden spoke on his experience with mental health and how, like in hip-hop specifically, you know, that needs to be spoken about a little bit more, you know, because, you know, it's a lot of influence in the hip hop culture and stuff, and especially with the the black community and stuff, and how the Styles P coming out speaking about it, and how more people should come out. And actually, even you, John, you sent out that clip of Jay-Z talking about the mental health and stuff.
And speaking of Jay-Z, I was just thinking about this when you was talking. Jay-Z with this 444 album kind of showed that you can do message music and make it dope.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's no longer an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Because even there was a time where Jay-Z was like, he wasn't going there because it was just, I guess, would have been considered whack at the time.
Right.
But he just showed that you can make a dope album and it be message driven. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and people, don't get it twisted, people been saying this for years, that music needs to go back to having some messages in it. But like we was talking about earlier before the show, I think the market is controlling this nothing rap that we get now. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going back to what you said, when it's about dollars. Who made the statement? George Bush said, son George Bush said, money trumps peace. He said this out of his own mouth. This is your former president.
Money trumps peace. Okay.
Money trumps peace. And I'm just saying that to say there's a lot of situations where we choose money over just flat out doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it goes back to that saying, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's really what that means. It means when you would do anything and everything for the mighty dollar. You know what I'm saying? Aside from doing what's the right thing to do.
What you're supposed to be doing.
What you're supposed to be doing.
And
You know what I mean?
and just speaking of like Dick Gregory, one of his statements was, love is a man's natural endowment, but he doesn't know how to use it. He refuses to recognize the power of love because of his love of power.
You want to say something, Lou?
No, I'm just listening. I'm not gonna fake like I'm the most into the not political. I'm not really. I don't watch the things you guys watch, so I'm here soaking it up. I'm listening.
Hey, I'm with that.
Piggybacking off something you just said, John, something I just thought of. You was talking about bringing the message back to rap music.
Yeah.
I was a few days ago. I had listened to an interview Pimp C did on an Atlanta radio station, and basically he was going off because he was basically saying, down south rappers need to put more messages in their music. And now this is Pimp C saying this.
Right.
He said it can't be all about slanging dope and throwing money in the strip club and partying. He was like, if we don't put some messages in this rap music, we talking about the South. We're gonna lose everything we built.
But what he said is, I'm gonna use your line, is so powerful because that's exactly what we witness every day. These young people have no respect. I'm outside today we sold a rocking chair from our house, and I'm putting it in the car, and it's kids outside playing. These kids ranging from maybe 7 to 13, let's say. It's grown folks sitting on the sidewalk. When I say grown, I'm talking about old enough to be our grandparents. Sitting out on the front sidewalk, just talking, just kicking it or whatever. And these kids, MF for this, F you. Whoa, I'm talking top of their lungs. Two things that amaze me about the situation, because I'm very observant. Two things amaze me. Not only were the kids talking like they was talking and being totally disrespectful, like those people was not even sitting there.
Right.
The older people said absolutely nothing. Not one of those elders said, hey, don't be out here cussing like that, or you too young to be using that type, or hey, you come here, let me talk to you for a minute. Not a word. Not a word. And I know why they didn't say nothing. Because if they said something and they go tell their parent, then their parent coming down the street and gonna cuss them out.
Right.
You don't tell my
Exactly.
And that they gonna give you, I call it love and hip hop. They gonna give you the hand gesture and the pointing and the
Whole lot of clapping when they talking.
a whole lot. And and I love rap music. I've been listening to rap music forever. But yo, we got to take some responsibility for this. when everything is negativity all the time, I don't care who you are. You become what it is that you focus on the most.
Definitely.
Soak that up.
And if everything, listen, your music is ratchet. Your TV is ratchet. The movies is ratchet.
Your parents.
Your parents is ratchet. Your grandparents is ratchet.
You don't have a healthy balance.
School is ratchet.
there's
I'm
no
seeing
balance,
clips on social media. Kids is fighting teachers every day. That was unheard of when I was in school. You ain't never hear about no. I can't recall one. All my 12 years through elementary, middle school, and high school, I can't recall one student fighting a teacher.
You thought about it, but you never acted on it.
Listen, we thought about going and fighting our parents, but we ain't do that. It was just a thought in your head.
You wasn't that stupid.
We wasn't that stupid, but it just shows the level of disrespect. But I think there's a lot of elements plays into that.
There's definitely a lot of elements.
Starts at home.
It starts at home, but you got babies having babies. And they used to say that when we was young.
Right.
Y'all babies having babies. And we didn't understand it then.
Understand it
But
now.
being 37 now, I totally understand what they were talking about.
They used to say, babies having babies, ain't nobody raising these kids.
Ain't nobody raising these kids. Listen, I'm 37 years old. I have a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. And I'm like, yo, at 16, it's no way I could have did this like the way it should have been done.
Yeah.
It's no way.
No way. I was thinking about this a few days ago when my father was my age. I was 20 years old. I can't imagine having a 20-year-old son right now. I couldn't imagine it. I'm like, wow. I was 20 and my dad was my age. Like, how did he do it?
I'm telling you, and me and my lady, we talk about it all the time. I'm like, damn, did we wait too late? Like, we old parents, technically. We old parents. But when you think about it, like I say all the time, having them older, we're more stable. We're more stable financially. We're more stable in the head. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. Whereas having them at 16, 17, 18.
You're not an adult. You can't handle
You're still trying to figure stuff out yourself. So I totally get it now.
And that's not a put down to the young mothers.
It's not a put down.
You just can't handle it.
You can't.
That's just a fact.
You can't. You're not gonna. Now, don't get it twisted. There are mothers that have had kids at a very young age, and they've raised very excellent children, but it was with help.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it was with good quality help. You know what I'm saying?
You need a support system.
A good, stable support system.
Because we had grandmas and big mamas when we was coming up. Now, grandma in the club with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dropping it low.
35 and over club card.
Yeah, so grandma telling her 16-year-old, 15-year-old daughter or granddaughter, no, that would make her, her daughter, because her kid would be the grandmother, telling her daughter, I can't watch your kid. I'm going to the club
I'm going
tonight.
out. Right.
You know what I'm saying? She and that Joe partying with me. You know what I mean? Not with me, because I ain't in the club no more, but you know what I'm saying. And so it's like you got to have them. We got to tilt our hats to them mamas and big mamas and all them that held it down,
and
man.
you know what? Those elders that are grandparents or great aunties or whoever helped raise you, back in their day, it was all about family values. Yeah. It was all about the black fam. We a black family, and we gotta look out for each other because ain't nobody else gonna look out for us.
Ain't nobody else gonna do it.
So if cousin whoop-de-whoop needs some help with her kids, I gotta help her.
Yeah. And I remember,
kid, you know what I'm saying?
I remember coming up, my father would take cousins and stuff in. You know, they'd call Roy, this boy, he this, he that. My father send them to me. They come stay here. I'm sharing a room with a cousin. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't acting right. But my father gonna get him straight because he, you know, they looked at him like, we see what you do with, you know, how you handle your business, so help me out here. And he had no problem with doing that, but you just don't get, I don't see a lot of that these days. Not based off of how these kids is acting.
A lot, look, first let me put it out there. I don't have children. I'm not an expert. I'm not talking about experience.
Well, I got some, I'm telling you, it's
from
crazy.
what I've observed, a lot of these younger folks, they looking for that discipline. They looking for that structure. They looking for that father figure. And they acting out, saying they looking for it. Now, that might, you know, that could come in many forms. Like we said before, it could come from a coach. It could come from a big brother figure. It could come from a pastor. It could come from an uncle. It could come from a grandfather. But they got to have it.
Yeah.
They got to have it.
Just like when I was leaving out tonight, there was some kids. First of all, why are kids out playing at 9 o'clock at night?
I don't understand that.
That's like 5, 6, 7 years old. That's a whole nother issue in itself. I mean, we at that age, we had to be in before the street lights came on. You know what I mean? But they out there grabbing rocks out my yard and throwing rocks at each other. So I say to them, hey, be throwing them rocks out here, you going to bust somebody's window out here. Oh, we sorry. Yes, sir, we sorry. They put the rocks down, they go. But the problem is now.
Not to cut you off. Is this the first time you had interaction with these kids?
First time I ever had interaction with these kids. So when I said that, yes, sir, so it's not that they won't listen or follow, but now you got adults are scared to talk to these kids or say anything to these kids. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought about it for a second, too, because I was like, I ain't trying to be out here arguing with somebody's mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the minute he throw a rock and bust my window out, you're going to tell me all the reasons why you not going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I say this almost every show. We got to come together as a community and as a people because, one, like you said, there's many aspects that go into that. But one thing we got to get back to doing is in our neighborhoods, we got to get to know our neighbors.
Yeah.
We got to get to know who we living around. So
unfortunately.
But if we do that, your first interaction with these kids and these teenagers ain't, hey, what the hell you doing over there? Your first interaction be like, hey, what's up?
You absolutely right.
How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I live here with you, know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. Right. And then when you see him doing something wrong, you ain't got to yell at him. You can pull him to the side. Be like, hey, come here. Let me talk to you.
Hey, what you doing over there?
Yeah, because when we was coming up, that's how some of our neighbors did it.
But I'm telling you, Scott, when you see how these adults act,
I already know, brother.
It's almost like, forget going to the kids. I need to go talk to these adults. Like, yo, do you know what type of example you setting for your child when you out in the middle of the street fighting at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning? Because that's what happens on my block.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Fighting in the middle of the street.
Sad state of affairs.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But it's the U&U Podcast.
Yes, it is. Have respect for y'all neighbors out there. Come on now.
Have some respect for your neighbors. Black man, stay out of jail. Sandra, get them kids out the street. The Hoe Phase, Rip, what's it all about?
The Hoe Phase. I wanted to talk about this for a minute because watching the show Insecure on HBO.
Okay.
For those who don't know, preferably John.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show, so give me a quick backdrop.
Okay. Well, the Hoe Phase is a term used to describe sexual liberation in the dating scene, which is usually all about having fun with zero permanent ties.
Okay.
Issa Rae, who is the creator and one of the writers and the star of Insecure, described the Hoe Phase. She described it in 3 different groups. And this is the way women have their Hoe Phase. She's describing the women aspect.
Okay.
The first group doesn't engage in non-committed sexual activity and chooses to wait on the relationship. The second group goes on a full-out quest to fuck all they can and get their numbers up. Okay. These are her words.
Okay.
Ray expressed that this group isn't interested in commitment and are often not able to rid themselves of the hoe label, even when or if they end their phase.
Okay.
The third group dabbles in sexual liberation without commitment, but also seeks and finds intimacy with a partner.
Okay.
Okay. One second. Okay. Now, this article I'm reading it from also goes on to say that the Hoe Phase is the pop cultural term we've used to coin a time of sexual freedom. That's our social norm. Oftentimes, women are described as having a Hoe Phase as if it's a season that we snap in and out of, unlike men whose Hoe Phase is filled with culturally accepted behavior for their gender. Okay, well, let me go on to describe the whole part of the show where all of this came about.
Okay.
So the first season of Insecure, Issa Rae and her boyfriend Lawrence, they're having their relationship. Lawrence has been unemployed for 2 years, sitting on the couch, trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life.
Okay.
So Issa Rae was getting kind of tired of that, you know what I'm saying? And, most times in relationships, when things are going kind of bad or, that the partner who's getting the short end of the stick, so to speak, looks for that fulfillment outside of their relationship.
Okay.
So Issa Rae was kind of upset about her boyfriend being unemployed for 2 years or whatever. So she comes in contact with a old fling that she had, and she kind of resisted a little bit, and one thing led to another. They hooked up. She cheated on her boyfriend Lawrence. So Lawrence started to pick himself up, found a job or whatever, was getting on his feet, feeling a little good about himself. And he so happens to find out about this situation with Issa Rae. She had to come out and admit to what she did. So Lawrence got mad, rolled out, came back, tried to work it out. That didn't happen. Went on. In the midst of all this time of Lawrence being unemployed and stuff, he met this chick from the bank, and she was being a little bit more encouraging than his girl Issa Rae was.
Which was easy to do
Yeah.
because he not sleeping on her couch. But go ahead.
Yeah. So during the time of that, Lawrence got mad after he found out about the cheating or whatever. Of course, he goes to the bank teller. Season finale of season 1, he was banging out the bank teller.
Very well.
Yes.
Great job.
For that to be a fake scene, it was very convincing.
Well, he was well rested because he was going to work. Go ahead.
So season 2 starts. Issa Rae, Lawrence broken up. Issa Rae finds out that Lawrence is doing this thing or whatever, and he's not really trying to get back with her right now.
Okay.
So that's when the hoe phase comes in for Issa Rae. She's talking to her girl. Her girl is already out there in the streets trying to find a man, doing what she's doing or whatever. So Issa Rae was like, she want to jump into her hoe phase now.
Okay.
She's trying to ask her friend how to do it, what she needs to do, da-da-da-da-da. So there's the hoe phase.
So which phase was she? She was the one, because she said there's 4 different levels of the whole phase.
Her phase was she was just trying to the second group, which I'll reiterate, goes on a full-out quest to fuck all they can and get their numbers up.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. Get your feelings about it. You gave us the backdrop. Now give us your feelings.
My feelings about it is just from, the second group that she described, I don't see it as no 3 groups. I see it as just one
right.
group.
I agree.
And that one group is the second group where
You just doing you.
you just doing you. You going out here getting your numbers up. I think it's the dumbest thing ever in the whole damn world.
Okay.
Granted, I agree with the fact that there's a double standard, that men, we can do this and we get celebrated, praised for. We don't look as a hoe or whatever.
But you are.
But I don't. Yeah, but I don't
It's a player
agree.
phase.
I don't agree with the double standard. So
Right.
that's why it's even dumber that I feel that the woman, when she gets in that situation where she feels that she needs to do this whole phase, I feel that's just dumb that she has to downgrade herself to do it. And I feel like that it's more so in these situations when I've experienced a woman talking about a whole phase and stuff, it's because she's been hurt.
Gotcha.
Or she's going through some type of pain or whatever. And I look at it just as she doesn't want to deal with that pain, so she's suppressing the pain and just going out there just doing whatever. You running away from the pain, but you still holding on it on your back.
Gotcha.
And you throwing yourself out there. It's almost similar to when we've talked about plenty of times with the Amber Rose thing and the slut walk. It's celebrating that aspect. I don't agree with celebrating something like that. We shouldn't be downgrading ourselves in those type of situations of a whole phase or a slut walk or whatever you want to call it to make yourself feel better about yourself. You're actually putting more negative energy around yourself by suppressing the pain you're going through, not dealing with the healing that you need to go through, and you know what I'm saying, just making yourself just
Look like a hoe.
look like a hoe.
How you feel, Lotus?
Listen, man. Like you said earlier about the double standard, men are celebrated for this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be a whole phase. If you can call a woman a whole phase, men should have a whole phase because men have been celebrated this since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You go to a party, you bag 3 girls. Oh, dog. Wait till I tell you what happened at this party. I had
Right.
3 of them. You the man.
Right.
If a girl came to a party, I came from a party and said, dog, I just had sex with 3 dudes at this party. How would y'all look at her?
You should
She's
stay away
a
from
hoe,
that woman.
right? I just think
Not
it's
me, but okay.
No, not
Right,
you,
right,
you
right.
know.
No, I follow
But she
you.
be
though.
looked at as a hoe.
Right.
I just think it's wrong that that double standard exists. If if a woman is a hoe, a dude should be a hoe. Call it what it is.
True that. True.
Men, there's some men out there hoeing.
I agree.
And everybody at this table know at least a few hoes. Men.
Oh, that are men. You got that right. Scott?
Ladies, y'all can direct all hate to my social media, Twitter,
That's 2 G's on the head.
SJH80. Let me tell you something. I've heard of the hoe phase way before, the TV show Insecure.
Right.
I feel like it's something all women go through, usually in the earlier stages in their life, early to mid-20s. All women go through a hoe phase.
Right.
Sometimes they might go through it right after, a breakup. That's not a problem. The problem is if a woman stays in the hoe phase. If you're 36 and you're still in your hoe phase, you're just a whore. That's just what it is. All right? You're not going through a phase. That's just you.
Right.
Now, let me tell you this is where I agree with the double standard.
Okay.
I don't treat men and women the same. Don't mean women is less than. Don't mean women is not equal to, but they different.
Gotcha.
I don't treat them the same. When it's a man, it's more like a player phase. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
This is the way I feel about it. If I had a key that could open any lock, I would say that's a great key. I'm going to keep this key. But if I had a lock that was opened by any key, this lock ain't worth anything.
Wow.
I'm throwing that lock away.
Wow.
I wouldn't want that lock protecting my house
Right.
because anybody can walk up in here.
Right, right.
So that's just what it is. Like, the natural instincts of a man is to go out and pursue women and to see how many women he can get. If a woman is allowing any man to get her, she has no value as a woman because she's going with anything. Now, some women may not like that, but, I don't care. You don't like it. That's just the way I feel about it.
All right, my turn. Okay. Hoe phase. Women have hoe phase. Men have hoe phase. Everybody here stressed that. I'm going to go a little deeper.
Go for it.
First of all, if you're in a relationship, that's one thing. I feel like if you're not in a relationship, you can do whatever the heck you want to do.
I agree with that.
All right.
I also say if it wasn't for the fact that we had diseases out here that are deadly, there'd be a whole lot more hoeing going on.
I agree with that.
Okay. Now, the third thing is we have in many ways made sex a bad thing. Let me explain. Sex is sex. We put this holy grail on sex and how you supposed to do it and who you supposed to do it with and how many times you're supposed to do it. And once again, I feel like if you're not in a committed relationship, you can do all the hoeing you want.
Right.
Or you could do all the non-hoeing that you want. It's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Now, guys say all the time, I don't want no girl that been with this. And your analogy was excellent. The key and the lock, that was an excellent analogy.
that was.
Y'all like that one?
I like it. But guess what? You only know what she tell you.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very
You thinking your girl is so sweet,
No,
nice,
she's
and
not.
wholesome.
She's not. She's never going to tell you everything.
She's never going to
It's
tell
going
you
to the
everything.
grave.
I'm going to leave it at that.
It's going to the grave.
Okay?
What
So,
was the saying? What you don't know won't hurt you.
what you don't know will hurt you. And I'm gonna give you another saying. No matter how great she is to you, is some dude somewhere that can't stand her.
That's true.
So I say all this to say, this whole phase, these stigmas, I made a comment the other day. This whole there's a right and a wrong. I'm even starting to debate that. Like what? Everybody has their thing. We put these levels on. We put these levels on people that certain people are worse than other people, and
right.
these stigmas, these programming. Game of Thrones, which I'm very into, the thing that was very prevalent in the first episodes of that was how the men treated the women. They treat women like they was nothing. They was just strictly for sex. Pretty much. You seen it?
Right.
The women was like strictly for sex.
I need to go back and watch season 1.
Listen, they will have sex with you in the middle of the grocery store if they had grocery store. I mean, that's how they was current. Am I lying? And so it was like women was nothing. And now women have gone through so many phases throughout time that here we are in this phase, the whole phase. And women are like, we're sick of the double standard. Men do what they want to do. We're going to do what we want to do. That's really all it boils down to. And in these days of times, I hate to say it, you almost just got to deal with it. And be lucky if you got a woman that ain't been with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And if she did, you will never know.
You won't.
Yeah. I mean, like, John, I agree with you. Like, if you single, do whatever the hell you want to do. I mean, like,
Because ain't nobody got to know about it.
and the
Unless
fact,
you tell
and
them.
like you said, everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody should be conducting their lives the way that they feel they should be conducting it.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with the whole phase is that you putting a label on it, and that you're basically putting a label on it and clunking yourself up with a whole bunch of other people. If you supposed to be an individual, just go ahead and live your life the way that you want to live. Don't care what nobody else think.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want people to focus on is when you say you in these whole phases, go a little deeper and understand that you probably got a little hurt, some pain or something going on with you that's pushing you to this so-called whole phase.
And you what you just said is powerful because you have some people that are sexing and they ain't hurt.
Right.
They sexing because that's what they want to do.
Exactly.
So what you said is very key. Don't do it because of a hurt or because of what your boyfriend just did.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I have a saying, as long as it don't hurt somebody else, do you, player?
Yeah.
Right.
If what I'm doing don't affect you, don't worry about
Right.
what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
If it's making you happy, but at the end of the day, if you going out here hoeing and hoeing and hoeing just so you can get back at somebody,
That ain't the way
or
to
if you at the end of the night you going home and you still sad or you still blown, even though you got this dude number or you slept with this dude or you slept with this girl, got these girls' numbers, dude, lady. You got some pain inside of you, so you need to be
Let that pain
focusing
go.
on that. Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with this. And you'd be surprised how many women wish they could get themselves in that mode where they can just do what they want to do when they want to do it. A lot of women that's not out here hoeing, they not out here hoeing because of the stigma that's been put on it. And they feel like if I do that, then somehow I done let my mama down. I done let grandma down. I done let Jesus down. You know what I'm saying? But deep inside, they want to get it bust open. I hate to be this. I'm telling you, I hate to be this talking like this. But there's a lot of women that wish they could get the guts to be like, yo, I'm going out here and I'm going to do me.
Right.
I promise you. And the more innocent and wholesome that you think she is, even more so she want that joint. But I'm trying to tell you.
Well, look,
Check her
when
social media DMs.
When you think about it, when you think of that whole little saying that, watch out for the preacher's kids.
Yeah.
Watch out for the preacher's kids. They be the wildest one.
Yes. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and we're gonna move on. Most women will tell you their biggest problem is not busting it open for somebody. It's busting it open to the person they really want to bust it open to.
True.
That's key.
If the dude comes along that she really want to bust it open to, what you think gonna happen?
It's gonna be busted.
It's going down.
Pretty much.
Usher and the big girl that so-called
That's
said
suing him?
that she gave him herpes. No, he gave her herpes.
No, he didn't give her herpes.
He didn't, but let's just use that as an
She
example.
could have.
Let's say.
Or he could have.
Yeah,
Something like
but
that.
let's say that really. I don't think it really happened.
No,
but let's say it
it's-
really
it's
happened.
garbage. Go ahead.
Let's say it really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all seen that girl
Mm-hmm.
and Usher.
Right.
Come on. I rest my case. Listen, everybody want to do a whole phase. Everybody wants to do a whole phase. It's just the ones that got the courage to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the natural reaction from a human, you're going to be attracted to other people. So it's going to be people that you're going to want to experience some type of intimacy with.
Yes.
So,
Whenever the woman gets approached by the dude that she really want to bust it open for, she's going to do it.
That saying is just hilarious.
It's true.
It's gonna go down.
Ladies, comment, write in, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. They'll bust it open.
They're
It
not
just
going
gotta
to tell the truth on the web.
You'll be surprised.
People don't like telling the truth about themselves.
You'll be surprised. When it's the dude they want to do it for, they doing it. And if it happens to be 5 different ones, it's going to be 5 different. Are you kidding me?
And you know what's stopping?
Are you kidding me?
And I believe what's stopping them, they don't want the wrong person to see and find out about what they're doing.
Exactly.
If they could do it and nobody knew, they do it. I understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
So that's what the story be like when people move to new cities. They can become whoever the hell they want to.
Exactly.
Here's another difference between men and women. Men will tell you that we hit 15 bad broads.
Because it's praised.
Exactly.
by us.
But a woman don't want people knowing her personal business.
Exactly.
That's all it is. She's like, she gonna do what she wanna do, but she just don't want nobody to know about it.
Exactly. So that's why she's very particular about who she busted open for. For good reason. But I go back to my earlier comment. You take the disease away, man.
Everybody doing
What?
Could be Game of Thrones season 1.
Are you kidding me?
In the grocery store, just getting it on.
Are you kidding me? If you took that away, 2 things will happen. There'll be way more sex going on, and there'll be way more children running around.
Right.
Point blank period.
Shooting off fireworks. on the street.
That's why I say I think disease was created for population control. Because they
Yeah,
knew.
I don't disagree with that.
They knew. They said if we just let them be able to do them, we have too many people in the world. It'd be too many people.
Could be a possibly happier world too.
A very happier world. Are you kidding me? That's the problem with most people. They ain't getting nothing. Not getting it good.
They're not getting it bust open.
They not getting it bust open.
That's the title for this issue. Fight night is out.
Bust it
This
open.
called Bust It Open. The Bust It Open episode.
Hey, listen,
the whole phase.
the whole phase. It's your boy, O King Johnny, OH_KING_Johnny, JONNY. Next to me is
Scott Heggs, HEGGS. Follow me on Twitter, SJH80. Link in my bio. Take you to my latest work, Hypocrisy in America. Before I pass it, John, you just said something that was so powerful. You said you think disease was STDs was created for population control.
yes.
Everybody out there, check out this book called AIDS, Opium, and Diamonds. It talks about just what you just said.
Woo, I need to
A
check
book
that
I
out.
caught probably about 5-6 years ago. Great book. It talks about how a bunch of diseases and a bunch of other stuff
Do they
was
have a
created
documentary about
for
that?
population control. I don't know for
Oh,
sure.
stuff like that, yo. We need documentaries.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Go ahead, Littles.
It's your man Littles. I ain't about to give you my real name. I don't want that out there. You can follow me at Littles1126. I think my Twitter's back up. That's about it. Littles1126 on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me.
Go ahead, Rip.
All right, it's your boy Rip. You can catch me on greatestiamblog.com, Instagram, greatest.i.am.blog. And I just posted a new blog, I Am Not a Stigma. Check it out.
Wow. It's the U&U Podcast. Black man, stay out of jail.
Don't forget to bust it open.